Welcome to this part of the Rediscovering Wellness series, part of the 4-Wing Balance Library. This is an initiative of the 4-Wing Balance Steering Committee. During this session, we're going to discuss what stress is, how it links to nutrition, and how we can better manage our stress. Stress is different for everyone, and there is no one exact definition because not everyone agrees on it. In its basic form, stress is an imbalance between the demands of the situation and your personal coping resources. This essentially means that you perceive that you don't have the resources to manage the situation effectively. Let's talk about the stress process. First, a demand or stressor will occur. This can be physical, like a car accident that's pictured, or psychological or cognitive. Next, we have a mental filter and perception of that demand or stressor, including our available resources and our capability to deal with it. If we perceive the stressor as negative, with little to no resources or coping capability, we'll move into not managing stress. If we perceive our ability to cope to be good and our resources to be plentiful, we will likely be managing our stress well. Sometimes we may fluctuate or hang out in the middle as certain aspects of the situation may be more stressful than others. Lastly, we will experience the stress response. So what is the stress response? This is also known as the fight, flight, or freeze response. The stress response is our body's emergency activation system when faced with stressors or demands. It includes physical and thought responses to our perception of the stressor or demand. When the response is turned on, your body releases substances like adrenaline and cortisol as your organs are programmed to respond in a certain way to situations that are viewed as challenging or threatening. Sometimes our bodies turn on our stress response when it doesn't really need to. When we perceive something as an emergency when it's not, the stress response can turn on. It can also turn on when thinking about past or future events. Physical responses can include, but are not limited to, increased heart rate, tight chest, sweating, trembling, increased blood pressure. Emotional and thought responses can include, but again are not limited to, restlessness, anger, nightmares, anxiety, defensiveness, racing thoughts, and declining concentration. Behavioral responses can include, but are not limited to, avoidance, increased tobacco or alcohol use, nail biting, decrease in exercise, and a decrease in relaxation activities. Let's talk about the physical effects of stress. In the short term, the hypothalamus produces corticotropin-releasing hormone, which suppresses appetite. It also sends messages to the adrenal glands to pump out adrenaline, helping to trigger the fight or flight response. In the long term, adrenal glands reduce cortisol, increasing overall levels and disrupting adrenal glands produce cortisol, increasing overall levels and disrupting the normative cortisol cycle. Appetite will likely increase and motivation in general may increase, including the motivation to eat. High cortisol in combination with high insulin levels may be responsible for increased intake of high-fat and sugar foods. Ghrelin, which is known as the hunger hormone, may also play a role. Individuals with high cortisol have also been found to be more likely to snack than individuals with low cortisol. The link between stress and nutrition. Many adults report engaging in unhealthy eating behaviors as a result of stress. Stress causes hormones to release, which in turn increases our interest and craving for so-called comfort foods, which are high in fat, sugar, or both. Once consumed, these foods seem to have a feedback effect that reduces stress-related responses and emotions. Because they seem to counteract stress, people may have increased stress-induced cravings for these foods. As a result, people may engage in overeating. How can stress increase weight and decrease health? Feeling stressed or experiencing stress can lead to weight gain and a decrease in overall health in a number of ways. Emotional eating, whether it be because of feeling upset or stressed, or talking to your support person over a meal, can lead to individuals eating more than they normally would. When individuals feel stressed, they feel as though they're often pressed for time. As a result, certain activities such as exercise may be delayed or skipped. Physical activity seems to be often the last on an individual's to-do list. Inactivity can result in weight gain, higher risk for acute and chronic illness and disease, and a decrease in overall health. When people are too stressed and busy to grocery shop, meal prep, and make healthy meals at home, they often turn to prepackaged, highly processed foods or fast foods from fast food establishments. It's very common for these foods to contain higher calories, fat, and sodium than a similar meal or snack prepared at home. Stress and anxiety also often lead to insomnia and sleep problems. Lack of proper rest can contribute to stress. So what can you do about stress? There are things that you can do to reduce your stress and its harmful effects. It's important to first understand what's causing stress in your life. This can be done through keeping a daily stress journal where you note when you're stressed, what the stressor was, how stressed you were on a scale of 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, whatever works for you, physical and thought responses, what you did to cope with that stress, and how successful that technique was. Then we want to find ways to reduce the amount of stress. If there are certain stressors that you cannot avoid, we want to learn healthy ways to relieve stress. Calming activities such as deep breathing, yoga, and meditation can help reduce our stress response and bring us back to a state of rest and calm. Deep breathing can be done on your own or using an app or video. Yoga and meditation can also be done by yourself, through in-person or online classes, following YouTube videos, or using an app. Yoga and meditation take practice, especially for those who have a racing mind. Don't give up after the first try. Keep at it. If you want to learn more about yoga, check out the yoga fitness videos on our PSP YouTube channel or the CFMWS National channel, or contact the PSP Fitness and Sports Department at Fort Wayne. Exercise is also great for stress. The 24-hour Canadian Movement Guidelines stipulates that adults aged 18 to 64 should accumulate 150 minutes of moderate to vigorous intensity aerobic physical activity per week in bouts of 10 minutes or more. Should also engage in at least two strengthening activities per week and some flexibility training as well. We also want to reduce sedentary time. Exercise reduces levels of the body's stress hormones such as adrenaline and cortisol. It also stimulates the production of endorphins, which are natural painkillers and mood elevators. Endorphins are responsible for the feelings of relaxation and optimism that are experienced after a workout. Sleep is also important. Again, the 24-hour Canadian Movement Guidelines stipulate that adults aged 18 to 64 should get 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. It's also important for the sleep to be of good quality. If you want to learn more about sleep and how to promote your own sleep hygiene, head on over to our Sleep in You series. If you're not getting enough sleep, experiencing poor quality sleep, and not sure how to cope or manage it, contact your healthcare provider. Social support from family, friends, and others can help reduce the effects of stress that are experienced. Caffeine is a very widely used stimulant. Unfortunately, caffeine has been shown to disrupt sleep and may therefore make stress worse. Understand that caffeine is found in a variety of food and beverages, not just coffee. It can be found in tea, energy drinks, cola soft drinks, chocolate, and chocolate or cocoa flavored foods and drinks. Instead of coffee or caffeinated tea, choose to consume water, sparkling water, or herbal teas, especially in the evening. Take a time out. It's sometimes good to take a time out or a break from situations that can be distressing. It doesn't mean we're running away from that issue. It just means we're giving ourselves the time to decompress by doing something we enjoy. This could be taking a walk, reading a book, going fishing, hanging out with friends, whatever works for you. Cope with cravings. So to cope with cravings for comfort foods, it's important to have a good base of a healthy eating pattern. This helps to ensure you have the balanced, nutritious meals and snacks throughout the day. Keep healthy snacks on hand, whether you're at work, at home, or in the car. Snack ideas could include cut up veggies and fruit, homemade trail mix, or whole grain crackers with some low-fat cheese. If you truly want to eat a comfort food that isn't part of Canada's food guide, remember that moderation is key. Completely eliminating foods that you enjoy from your eating pattern may not necessarily be the right decision for you. If you do consume these foods, do so with less frequency and in smaller portions, and don't feel guilt or shame. If you want to learn more about stress and how to manage it, contact the Fort Wayne PSP Health Promotion Department for their next stress management course dates and to register. Again, if you're interested in learning more about nutrition, check out the remainder of our sessions in our Rediscovering Wellness series.